Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the cozy edition of Welding, which is number 3 of 3. This is the octahedral build. And if you haven't seen my other videos where I talk about the MechPow welder that I got as a recent addition to my shop, please go check that out. And also the other 2 installments where I made a hexagonal mold and the industrial light. So here, like I said earlier, I had in my previous videos, I'm using templatemaker.nl in order to get these octahedrals. You can leave it as one full piece to make an ideal octahedron as a whole in its totalitarianism, so to speak. But for me, I'm going to make these little holders, and in hindsight, the way that I had marked it on my metal, yeah, it kind of saves space, but in the long run, it really doesn't, because I'm having to hacksaw away like you see here. I'm leaving jagged edges that are very strange shapes that I probably can't reuse, in which case I probably should have just had them point to point if I was going to keep them separated into 2 pieces. So using my angle grinder and my jig, I'm just scoring some marks. Again, in hindsight, I probably would have just done a nick as opposed to going like halfway, if not 3/4 through the metal. But it gets the job done so I can bend them by hand with my buffness, right? So there's the idea here. You can start to see it take shape, literally.
There's something extremely gratifying about doing something like this. That's why I do this. It's fun for me. Hopefully it inspires you, but let's tack this up.
Again, one of the downsides of recycling footage is if you don't have the shot completely centered, it kind of, well, you get the idea. So I apologize for that. Don't beat me up too bad, please, in the comments. I knew of the mistake, and I will try to be better next time. But I am welding it up on all sides just to make sure everything's symmetrical here. And I used the MIG for that one. So I went ahead and off-screened the rest because it's just, you know what I mean? My cat's joining in. She's not blind. She was protected, right? She had a little weld mask on. No, I'm just kidding. The door was closed. So I went back through and I started cleaning that up, right, with the power sander. And then I decided, you know what? I was like, it's going to look weird if I just have the 2 edges that are tacked, but then leave these 2 alone. So I went ahead and did it for all 4 edges on these guys, just to kind of make sure that all the holes were good. And in retrospect, I guess things that I would have done differently was just to nick the surface and not grind the surface for bending, because there were some times on this one where whenever I was welding, I put some holes through, and I believe it was for this edge right here, for this edge. You can see this one is a little bit more heavy on the weld because I poked a hole in. And so if you decide to make some geometric shape like I did or whatever, maybe you're gonna make like a 20-sided die, massive for your D&D collection or whatever you decide to do, I don't know. Just nick it so that you can bend it. You don't have to go like, I feel like I went 75% through the metal whenever I was grinding, so just keep that in mind. All right, so I'm really pumped about getting those bases situated, ready to rock. So I need a little base, right? So I use this this 1/2-inch material. These are like dowel materials, and I'm just gonna make like a quick and dirty base with it. And in hindsight, I think I made them a little bit too wide, those squares, right, that the octahedron base is gonna sit into. And if I were to do this again, I would make them smaller so that you can see more on the upside of it as opposed to sunken down below. But it is what it is. I'm still happy with it, and I think it gets the job done, and it looks pretty dope, especially DIYing it. So what are you gonna do with these guys? Well, I got a couple of ideas. Or 3 rather. You can plant your succulents. You can put them in your office or in your home. You can also use it to like burn incense or whatever if you're like into that kind of stuff. That's cool. But what I did is I'm gonna make these little candle holders because they look dope in my bay window, and yeah, I just think it looks really nice, especially like given the sunset or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty cool. If you have stuck around with me with all 3 of these videos, I really appreciate it. Give me some love down in the comments and stuff, and we will catch you on the next one. Peace.